Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. It's Tuesday. We made it over Monday. Mondays are always never a fun day when you got to get back to work, especially after if it's a long weekend. But thanks for joining in. We've let some people show up. I've got my coffee. I just brewed a fresh cup for the live stream, so hopefully you did too. And we'll see who's here. Good morning. Good morning, Candace. Good morning. Welcome. I saw your community tab yesterday. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's always hard. And let's see who else wants to come in. We've got a bit of news to share today. We'll go through and just say our good mornings first. Good morning, Stan. Welcome. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for tuning in. Always appreciated. And yeah, market looks okay today. We're getting over. I think we're getting over the, especially in the crypto space. Lots is like still unraveling with that whole FTX thing. But we obviously the channel's not a focus on crypto, but everything seems to be kind of like, I mean, more stuff is coming out. But I think the market's getting over, the crypto market anyways is kind of getting over that a little bit, and learning a little bit from that as well. So I think the big thing to learn for a lot of people were to take your any kind of tokens or currencies, Bitcoin, whatever, off of exchanges and keep it in your hardware wallet. That's a big thing. I think I read somewhere that I think Ledger had their like biggest days of ordering or something like that over the weekend. So that's a good thing. So we can kind of take a good bit out of that. And good morning, Nadia. Welcome. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining. And yes, that's exactly it. So good data out of the States. So we're getting a bit of a green day. I've kind of pulled up a few articles, kind of, so we can kind of talk about those. But as always, before we get started, if anybody's watching this on the replay, we do welcome. Thanks for watching. We do the live streams Monday to Friday, start at 8 o'clock. We usually go about 45 minutes. Sometimes it goes into an hour, depending on how much we're talking and yapping along. But it'd be great to have you join on a live stream if you're able to. If not, they're all kept on the channel, so you can check them out in the live tab. But great to have you. And while we're here, hit that like button, and then we'll get on to talking some articles. So I've got a few things picked up that we can definitely talk about. I'm trying to find good news. You know, it's always easy to find doom and gloom articles a lot of times, but maybe try and find a little bit of good news for the day to start off our Tuesday. So let me just share and present my screen, and we'll get in the road. And there we go. Let's share this. This one popped up this morning. Canadian October home sales are up from September, first monthly increase since February of this year. So obviously, everybody, I think, unless you've been under a rock, in Canada, the house prices are absolutely crazy, still expensive. The market was going nuts, and started to slow down really quite quickly on after March, January, February, March, we start to come down. And we've been talking about that a little bit on streams with Rob, and we had Rob here about home sales. But September is the first increase since February. So it's actually up. It's just, obviously up a little bit. Canadian Real Estate Association, first monthly gains of October, and sales were up 1.3% since September. Now that's good, I guess, but obviously, still down, compared to a year ago. Home sales in October were still down 36%. But I think what's kind of happening is we're just kind of going back to a bit more normalcy. Rates have kind of done that. I think rates are having their effect. If you're trying to get a mortgage, you'll know that rates are higher for everything, right? Any kind of loan. You're going to have even a car loan, anything, higher rates. So, but it's kind of nice to see that kind of coming up. I think it's kind of, I'd have to dig more into the stats on this, but it's almost like it's coming back to like if we take out basically, I'll put the headline up here so we can see it. If we take out the last 2 years, we're kind of back, I think, to normal. I'd have to go back and look at some data on that, but I think that's kind of where we are. So it's good to see we're kind of at normal, not necessarily dropping below like historical norms for this part. I do think different provinces are probably having different, this is obviously for Canada, but different provinces and different areas are obviously have different impacts of what's going on, because they would have had different, much like the stock market, right? Different areas just shot up where they probably shouldn't have. going forward. But that, I guess that's a bit of good news. It shows things moving along. People always, people do always have to there's always changes, right? In people's lives. People are still having kids, not as many. People have to move for jobs. People have to, unfortunately get separated or do something where they have to sell. So there's moving along. So that was good news. And good morning, Jam. Welcome. And welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. And on some more good news. We've always got good news today, which is always good. Let's get that next one. And I think, Candace, if you're still watching, you'll maybe like this one. And if I can find it, there we go. Apple launches emergency system for people who can't access cell service. So this came out with their, and I'll pull up the article so you can actually see what I'm reading. So this was built into their new phones, and I think it launched in, if I'm not mistaken, it launched in the States first, but they're going to be launching this in Canada. And I think some of the new Apple watches have this feature as well, the high end one. So they're basically working it so they can connect to satellites. So if you are without service, lost somewhere, you can send messages to be able to get it to the emergency services to know where you are. So for example, if you're out hiking or something like that, you can use your phone to, if you don't even have cell service, you can use your phone to pass on your location and send a message to emergency services to be able to get hopefully rescued, I guess would be the gist of it. Now this is right now the emergency. It's only available on iPhone. It'll be available on iPhone 14 devices this year, and it's going to be free apparently for 2 years, from what I'm reading. And so that's kind of a neat feature, especially for people that are outdoorsy, for sure. That's one big thing. But another thing to keep in mind, obviously, we had that Rogers outage last. When was that? I forget when it actually happened. We had that outage in Canada where people on the networks were just not working for like a day, and that included like a lot of stuff, like Interact stuff, banking stuff was all not working. But communications weren't working, and people weren't able to contact 911 and that kind of stuff. So this is kind of interesting how this will be able to use for that. So that's a good thing. I could see that's a good some good news, right? And it is definitely a welcome addition to their mobile stuff. Now, obviously it's a way for Apple to get you to buy their latest and greatest phone. I don't think it's on whatever. I think it's iPhone 14, and I think I'm not an Apple phone user. I think that's the latest one, if I'm not mistaken, built in. So that's a good one, and maybe they'll be putting them into more models of the Apple watches and stuff like that. Like I think I don't know what the Apple Watch, what do they call it? Apple Watch Extreme or whatever the higher end one. It's more of an outdoor one. And conform 14 it is. There you go. So it might be time to upgrade, especially if you're outdoorsy. I think if that's a good thing. I used to do a lot of hiking and had a separate device for that. It was like an SOS device kind of thing that you could turn on, and it would only send a signal. So it would send your GPS coordinates to a monitoring system, and it would work with satellites. Where this with the phone is quite more, not everybody has an iPhone, but more people have it, especially now that the thing that I had was a separate subscription you have to pay every year, which is, if you're going out into the middle of nowhere, it's money well spent. But with Apple including it for 2 years, I could see them switching it to possibly to a subscription model, or giving it 2 years with 2 years with your new phone as a way to kind of get you to want to upkeep. Obviously it makes sense. So they're giving it away for 2 years for free, but most contracts on phones now are 2 years. So I could see it probably, doing it that way to get you to, as a more of an incentive, right, to upgrade your phone at least every 2 years on your new Apple device. That they kind of do that. They even do that, I think, with a little bit with the Macs, where they, you get Apple, what is it? Apple ID, and like you get different things or Apple TV for free for X amount of time if you buy a new Mac, that kind of stuff. At least they used to. And it's the Ultra Watch. That's what it's called, Ultra Watch. I kind of looked at that. It's kind of neat. I'm not a big. It's some neat technologies they're starting to build into these things. yeah, they can, like, I guess if you fall, I think some of the other ones have that too, Candace. Like if you fall, it'll detect like some type of crash. And but I guess now obviously being able to alert the services is a different thing, right? Because I think if you fall on with the other ones, it kind of might pop up a message, or it has a, I think it might trigger a text message or something to go to, you know, an emergency contact or something like that, but not actual services. I could be wrong. Check that out. But so that's kind of neat. If you're in a, you know, if you're in a car accident or something like that, then you hopefully it would work, and you know you get especially if you're traveling in places where there's not proper cell service. Very, very handy for sure. So, and then going back, Abigail, good morning. Welcome back, Abigail. Nice to have you. And Candice, do you have an Apple Watch? I know they're quite popular. Yeah, a year old. You don't really have to upgrade. This is what they kind of made them. They've made them so, you know, it's like you don't need to upgrade things every year anymore. There's only so much they'd start to add as features, so you can almost kind of skip a generation or few. I don't necessarily see the point of upgrading something every year to have the latest and greatest. They used to be the phones like that all the time, and then you'd always want to get the latest and greatest for you know, to keep up, and you're realizing you're wasting your money all the time if it's just incremental increase. So you have yeah, before the last one. Yeah, they can still do, I think, most of the things that you want them to do. There's always going to be the latest and greatest that you want to get, right? And last bit of news, let's close off this, and we'll get the last bit of news with it, which I think everybody will like. Where can we find it here? There it is. And you still have it. Yeah, you still have 11. Yeah, that's the thing. If your phone works, why get rid of it? You know, what's the point? Unless the screen breaks or something like that. Now, these days, you're not really getting that many new features on a new phone. And the way everything, I mean, unless you're using it for, you know, if there's a specific feature they release on a phone that you really want or need, I would say need. Like some of the new cameras and stuff are pretty good on new phones, but if you're not using it for camera or stuff like that, and if your one is, for the most part, any phone I think within the last 5 years is more than probably adequate for what most people kind of actually need. You know, there's no point in upgrading all the time. But I know they do, you know, add new lens, you know, new camera lenses, stuff like that. But that's only if you're into that and doing lots of maybe film, you know, taking lots of pictures with it. But I think anybody that's really into photos and cameras and stuff is buying a separate camera. Like that's like me. I have a separate camera, so I never take a picture, rarely with my phone. The odd little snapshot. And Jason, good morning. Welcome. Good to see you back. Got your coffee? Excellent. So Candace, yeah, use your phone when you're streaming. Yeah, that's the one thing. Like I noticed, I could probably try and figure that out with my phone, because that's the one hard thing, is because when you do your stream, my camera's up here, but it's like my screen is too big. So if I'm reading the comments, I have to read down. But if I'm looking, like if I'm actually looking up at the camera where I should be, I can't read the comments. So I gotta have to put it in the middle of the screen, I think, somehow to mount in front of me would be more ideal. But there we go. And yeah, I just caught that MacBook Pro. Spell check. That's good. All right, last bit of news, which I think everybody will be happy, is let me just pull it up here. And we can add that in. There we go. So CRA is finally announced. I think this came through a couple days ago, if I'm not mistaken, maybe yesterday officially. We all kind of knew this was coming because we talked about it before. Official announcement of the TFSA limit has been increased up to $6,500. So we've got a bit more room to put into our TFSAs going forward. If you haven't done anything into your TFSA, now the limit is $88,000, if I'm not mistaken. So that's good. I guess that's one good part about inflation, is the limit of the TFSA goes up. So there's some room for people. Hopefully, it would be a nice position to be in, to be able to max that out every year and have it had maxed out every year, but it doesn't always It's not always the case. But so that's some good news. I pulled up this page because I did some searching on, and if you go to the CRA website is absolutely terrible to find anything. I did find it there, but it's down below a whole bunch of other, because they've done a whole bunch of other tax adjustments and and things like that. So I will actually do a video on the limit, because I know that might be a lot of people probably not watching the live stream on the channel. So let me just catch the video. So I'll do a quick video later today to post that up there. Just to kind of get that going. And oh, there you go. So Candace does need the room. Good. That's awesome. I'm nowhere close. I still have lots of room. So that's a good position to be into. I'm trying to like, for me, I'm trying to get my limit, like that's kind of the goal for the year, is to like at least get that amount in. I still have obviously lots of room, but that's kind of my small little goal within the goal of building it up, is to try and get at least that amount. But then I don't have to worry about putting extra in, which is good, because obviously, yeah, you don't want to put, if you're at your limit, you do not want to go over, or you'll get slapped. I think they might give you one. If I think people, and this is why it's kind of nice. Like, I do have my TFSA just in one place. So it's nice to keep, that makes things easier to keep track of, because I know some people have, if you have different TFSA accounts in different places and different products, and you're getting close to your limit, really pay attention, because you don't want to, have an auto, for some reason, have an auto deposit set up that, you forget to turn off, or, make a mistake and transfer money to the wrong account by mistake and don't catch it, that kind of thing. You want to definitely be careful with that. I think they probably give you, I don't know the tax actual rules on that. I'm not a tax person, but I think as long as it's not, I think you'll probably get a notice. I'm going to assume you get a little notice from I think maybe Wealthsimple, maybe, I don't know how it will work, just to watch if you're coming to your limit. For the amounts going in, you'd want to just really keep a track on that you don't go over, so you don't get taxed, or you just have to move it out, I guess. So if Canada's, yeah, you'll get your notice, right? You get your does it not track the same? I think you can. I know, Candace, with your RSPs, you can log into your CRA like account and see your contribution room. Does anybody know if the TFSA is in there too? I think you'd think it would be. It must be in there somewhere. It's always kind of hard to navigate their websites internally to find out stuff, but that amount must be in there somewhere too, to know what you have left. But I guess they wouldn't know necessarily what you've put in. Like, you wouldn't necessarily know what you've put in for that year, right? So if you're really close to that amount, you have to kind of do that reconciling yourself until, because at the end of the year, that's when that's when the notices go out to CRA from your TFSA accounts, right? They report how much you put in. So you definitely have to keep track of that if you're at the limit. Oh, so yeah. So Jan, good. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it would be in there. I figured it would be. Yeah. I figured it would be. Yeah, that's the hard part, right? It shows you the room, yeah, but you don't know exactly what you have, because the markets with the amounts are off. And this is the thing with Wealthsimple, it doesn't give you they give you the statements, but let's be honest, probably people don't go in and actually download their statements as often as maybe they should, because most of it's on the app, and then the statements kind of direct you over to get as a PDF, and it's kind of a pain to download. It would be nice if they had, I think they do on the web, they have a section for all your statements, but it would be nice if there was a section showing your like year to date, especially with TFSA, is showing your year to date. There must be a way to kind of figure out your year to date deposits, but I know the setting, like when you go and look at your like transactions, even if you drill down, it lists them all, right? It doesn't necessarily total it up for you, so it can be kind of a bit confusing to look at. It'd be nice if you could log in, because Wealthsimple does have this on their RSP side, because you can put in there, you can manually put in what your TFSA limit is, and then it will let you know kind of as you log in. It will say, oh, you've still got X amount of dollars on your X amount of dollars on your RSP. Yeah, it would just take, you just have to, you could easily work it out, right? You just would have to go back and look at all your statements for each month and do a bit of, basic math to kind of calculate stuff up. It's possible, but yeah, no one likes math. I guess I'm in a good position because I don't have to worry. I'm way off. So it's not a thing I worry about. So that's always good. That's always fine. And I guess if you're at people at their max, I guess they typically will then either might look at putting it into their RSP if they have room. I don't know what people do, or they just, do they have must have it. Maybe some people even have an unregistered account to be able to use it and put it in next year or something. There's different ways to it's hard to say how you'd want to do that, because if you put it into your RSP, you get the tax break right away, but you can't take it out to move it around because you get taxed again. And so if you have money that overages, it's like probably just keep it in your savings account or something, and then transfer it in. It's hard to know what to do. I don't know if you can, and you can't transfer, like say you bought stocks in an unregistered account and wanted to transfer them into a TFSA, you still have to liquidate them, because there would be a loss or a gain, right, on those, and then you'd have to buy them again. So the tax man always gets you somehow, I guess, except in the TFSA where it's tax-free, which is a great product. This is one thing with this channel I've really learned, like they should really rename it as it's always been named the tax-free savings account, right? And it's really misleading. And I think a lot of people don't know you can hold other things in there, like stocks, ETFs, and different investments, where if it was maybe called the tax-free investment account, more people probably would do different types of investments, because I think a lot of people just don't know. I mean, I didn't when it first started. I thought, oh, tax-free savings account, you just put it, it's just a savings account. You put it, that's how a lot of the banks really marketed it, right? At the very beginning, they just did it as high interest, put it in, was ING Direct at the time, put it in a tax-free, your tax-free savings account pays 2% or whatever. So that's what I think a lot of people just did, and had it as a basic savings account. And the problem partly with that too is if you obviously it is a savings account, but if you just have it in savings like that, I think you're more apt to take withdrawals from it, because you're like, oh, it's only in it's just a savings account, I'll just take this out because I need $100, right? Whereas if you have your TFSA invested in in equities or whatever, and there's obviously market changes and everything else, you're making decent dividends on something, you're less apt, I think, to liquidate a stock, right? Because I mean, if you really need the money, you would do it. You'd have to do it. That's fine. But you're less do it for just any kind of discretionary spending. Whereas if it's just sitting in a savings account, it's easy to go, oh, I'll just transfer it over because I need $100 for the weekend. I'll just take it from my TFSA today. You're not really, you're not treating it the same way as an savings is kind of different than an investment, right? And how you kind of think about what it is. So, and that's all the news I had. The half an hour always goes so quickly. It's great. I love these questions. I love how we get on. We always seem to get on a tangent about something, which is awesome with everybody. And I do appreciate all the questions. So that's great. And people watching. I haven't, if anybody has an article or anything, let me know if they've, it's always kind of nice to hear. We hit the halfway point in the stream. Is anybody, bought anything? I had a few comments on my channel yesterday with a few people. Let me just pull it up. Someone bought some Tesla yesterday. And then they were looking at also, and I haven't seen this one. I mean, Candace, you might know, I've heard this one. It's called Granite REIT. I don't know what that one is. Granite Real Estate Investment Trust. I have not heard of that one. I don't know what they are about. Let's just see here. Obviously, it's a real estate. They do, they're involved in the development, ownership, and management of logistics, warehouse, and industrial properties in North America and Europe. So they own 108 investment properties, representing approximately 45.3 million square feet of leasable area. So a little bit different one, that's for sure. Granite REIT. I don't know if anybody, is it an office? So it's office. Yeah, I think it's more, there you go. I think it's more, from the sounds of it, a bit more industrial office space though, like maybe warehouses. Yeah, have never heard of that one. Yeah, warehouse and industrial properties. Something a little different. I don't know if you've done a video on them or anything yet, Candace. That might be one for the list. Oh, so there's some different ones. Oh, okay. I'd have to dig it up then. That's the one that popped up. GRT.TO. So they must have, maybe they have a few. There's literally, you could go crazy looking at REITs and anything like ETF. There's like ETFs of, there must be even an ETF of REITs, I'm sure. Like there's literally, it's impossible to, every time I see there's a comment, there's always something. I mean, we've all heard of the regular, like the Teslas, I think the big ones, but there's always like these random companies that you've never heard of that people find, which is kind of neat. So if people are watching and they want to do a bit of research on Granite REIT, then I think that's kind of cool, because you can kind of you might find something that you might want to invest in after looking at it. One thing that's heading up to this is what popped out to me too is there's a big jump in. Now let me pull this up. There was a big jump today in Taiwan, like in chips, because Taiwan Semiconductor is up like almost 12% today. And what was happening is, I guess Berkshire Hathaway has taken stock in that company. So I found that kind of interesting. So a lot of the tech chip companies are up today, which I don't own any. So I found that one a little bit interesting. I guess Berkshire Hathaway seems to always do quite well. There's always on Twitter, there's accounts you can follow that basically tweet out what some of the big players are doing, and it'll tell you like, oh, Berkshire Hathaway bought X amount this year. Some other ones come out too for Kathy Woods. It'll say what did ARK buy today? What did they sell? And you can kind of almost follow that. Maybe follow that as advice. I don't know. I guess the secret is not to go chasing anything when the things, take a methodical approach and just do research before you jump into it. Don't jump on something that all of a sudden today went up 12%, because it might not continue. There's a good chance, with the way the market is right now, that tomorrow it's down. So you don't want to chase anything. So I did find that interesting. The market is always interesting. It's just like, you can definitely go crazy watching it and seeing what's happening. And the littlest kind of news, you'll read something and you'll think, oh, that's going to be terrible, and then all of a sudden it's the exact opposite, right? That it causes something to go up for whatever reason, way beyond my scope on things. Yeah. As far as that, I haven't, as you know, if you're watching the channel, I haven't bought anything. Nothing, no plans for me this week. Wait for paydays. Do the next purchase. As always, I do share them over on the community tab, as always, so you can always catch that. Make sure everybody I think is here is subscribed, which is awesome. But if you're not, if you get to subscribe, you'll see, and I do pop those up in the morning if I have kind of added to any of the positions. But nothing lately. Just kind of just doing the slow and steady, I guess, is the best description of it. It's I think we're still in for some bumpy times. We're seeing a bit of relief, which is nice for the most part. If it can continue, that's great. It's always hard to know what's going to happen. We'll see. I think hopefully from all signs of it, I think it looks like inflation's coming down. Maybe it will come down faster than we all hope. I mean, hopefully that would be nice. And then we can maybe take a bit. We're not going to obviously see rates dropping really anytime soon, but I think if we see the inflation still coming down, we'll see a pause on rates. And I think it's all kind of, from what I've been reading too, is a pause on the big increases we've seen. So hopefully when we have the Bank of Canada next month, I think we'll hopefully see a smaller, more regular sized increase, which will be a bit more easy to palate for everybody. And also the market that might give a bit of a signal to that we're kind of hopefully at a bit of a peak there, and go from there. And then maybe a pause would be nice for a little bit, and we'll see how the year rolls out. I think into December, I mean, it's always nice. I don't know if we'll see a Santa rally or anything this year. We didn't really see it last year, so we may be pleasantly surprised if we kind of carry on how things are kind of going right now. We might kind of see a nice steady increase by the new year. We'll have to see how things do pan out going forward. And I had one more article which I'll find here. Let me just find. I always end up getting like way too many tabs open. I gotta find it again, and then if I don't save it, it switches so fast. And this is what I was gonna pull up. Someone asked about yesterday, and they just seem to not be able to catch a break, is Algonquin. So let me share that screen. Yeah, they just can't seem. There we go, Algonquin. Yeah, they just can't seem to catch a break this week. So I know there's a few people been hit by that one, which is unfortunate. There was everybody was doing doing really well on Friday, and then anybody that owned Algonquin, I had a few comments saying I was doing great, and then Algonquin hit, and that was that one. So it seems like they're not catching a break on that one, unfortunately. And yes, you do have to fix your autocorrect, but I got it in the next one. So I was like, what the heck are you talking about? But we do, yeah, that's right. So we've talked about it a little bit on the channel, Candace, and I know you mentioned it in your live stream, so perfect time. We might as well mention that. I did reach out. I know you have, obviously yesterday that's okay. Get back to me when you can. So Candace and I are planning to do a live stream, because I know there's a few other people that follow the channel, my channel, and I think probably Candace's channel too, because we do have overlap with people that find finance interesting. But there's also a few other people that have other channel, like YouTube channels, or have wanted to start YouTube channels. And I know from some of my comments that people have, I've asked them, people do have channels. So we're gonna kind of do a YouTube behind the scenes, talk about how we got started in doing these channels, and kind of we will hopefully be able to add a little bit of ideas and some best practices for people that are either have a channel or if they are wanting to start a channel, because there's lots of room on, and it doesn't, I mean, obviously not, doesn't have to necessarily be a finance themed channel. If there is, that's awesome too. The more, I think the more the merrier. There's always lots of room for different people on the YouTube. And so we're going to do that. We'll have it, we're hashing that out right now, and it'll be a perfect time for people to ask questions about whatever, all sorts of stuff. I know, and so we'll hash out a time. We're trying to figure out the best time for both of our, and JM, we are working on the collab. So we're gonna have it. I think it's gonna be streamed on this channel, but Candace, we'll get her the video. We'll be able to get the video downloaded to hers, or we'll figure it out. But we're just figuring out the best time to hopefully be able to work it for both audiences, because both of our audiences have different, people that view Candace's channel are used to things at certain times, and so we'll get a date hashed out. It will be before the holidays for sure. I think we've agreed on that, and we'll jump on, and it'll be fun. We'll spend an hour or whatever to answer your questions about, and I'm going to assume it's probably going to go from YouTube to maybe a bit of finance, but we can talk about that, whatever. We'll start with that. So what we'll do is we'll have it sorted out. We'll post it so you'll get notified in a lot of time, and we'll allow. What I'll do is I'll set it up so people, if you want to ask any questions beforehand, if you're not able to maybe make the live stream, we'll get your questions in. I think Candace will probably do the same. So we will have some questions to talk about before, if you're not able to make it on the live stream, and then you can come back later and you can check them out, the answers. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I have to do more of those. It's always fun to have people on the live stream to chat for sure. I guess that's an invite for other people if there's something that I know there's some other YouTuber channels. So if anybody has some ideas for a type of collaboration, it's always send them over. I can't speak for Candace, but I'm sure she'd be open to other things too. I know she's had guests and stuff on her channel. So that would be fun. We can always do different things. Because I know there's a lot of smart investors and a lot of smart people in the comments. So if anybody ever kind of wanted to share, and I know there's a few other people that have channels for a bit of a hustle, a bit of a side hustle. So it's always fun to help share with the community. So that will be fun. Looking forward to that. It's always fun to talk. It's always fun to talk YouTube. And YouTube definitely keeps you busy. YouTube always keeps you busy. That's for sure. There we go. Well, we're coming up to trying to do, for the stream, we kind of go 45. We're close to 45 minutes, so we'll start to slowly wind things up. I know people have asked questions, but get those last minute questions in for sure. I didn't have any more articles that I did want to share. I'll be carrying on. We will do another stream tomorrow. Start at 8 o'clock. Go for about 45 minutes or so, which is always fun. See how the morning's going. Well, at least it's morning for me. If you're back east, it's not. You're hitting the afternoon. So ends just before lunch. But it is nice to share kind of what's happening with everything, and what people are seeing. Like I mentioned in the channel, I will get that TFSA. I will get that. It will be epic. I will get the TFSA video posted. I'll just do a quick one today. Like these, I don't like to drag anything on, so it'll be a nice quick video just to let people know. It will be the epic. We'll see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many viewers kind of come through. Candace, it's one thing that's cool about live streams is you kind of get more and more. So you usually get some different faces coming through. Obviously, when I do my stream in the morning, not everybody's either A, awake, or B, a lot of people may be at work already. But it's nice just to jump on. Gives me a bit of a outlook for the day. Usually you get to kind of see what's happening with the market, catch a bit of news before my day starts, and it's a good way, I think, to have a cup of coffee and just connect with whoever's around to watch. So on that note, on watching, if you are watching and you have a friend or family that you think would be interested, not just on the live stream, but on this channel in particular, send over the link. It'd be really appreciated. If there's maybe a video that's up there that you want to pass along. I'm trying to do a few more different things as opposed to just sharing. I mean, obviously, mostly it's sharing my mostly sharing my portfolio just to kind of see. I think people do find that interesting, to partly to know that you're not alone with the way the market is going. It can be definitely it can be stressful. I get that. So it's kind of nice, I think, to maybe see other people's experiences and going forward. So I encourage you, if there's anybody that you think would be benefit of the channel or my channel, even Candace's channel, pass on the links. It's always appreciated, so we can grow. It helps everybody out with the channel to do that. And your autocorrect, I think, is still not working with us. Yeah. If you say duck, I'll take it. I'll know what it means. And this, we'll leave it at that. I do appreciate it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow, regular time. I'll have it posted on the channel. So if you are subscribed, turn on the notification bell. Before we do take off, make sure you do hit the like button. It really appreciate it. Helps the channel out, and it shows that you kind of enjoy what you're seeing. It's nice to have everybody here. Thanks for joining me on Tuesday, and we'll catch you all tomorrow. And one sec here as we're signing off. I misspelled correct. Okay, so there we go. We're perfect. It's working. We'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I do really appreciate it. We'll catch you in tomorrow's live stream, and I will have a video up later on this afternoon once I get that posted about the TFSA. So sneak peek on that. I will catch you all in the next one. I'm going to end this off. I think we start with the fireplace. Let's switch it. We'll run the fireplace for a little bit as I sign off, so you can just relax into your day. Maybe finish up your coffee for a minute or so. Let me take myself out, and we'll put the fireplace back in, because it's a nice fireside chat.